Good afternoon to all the esteemed guests who have joined us virtually on our platform and all those watching us live on our social media handles. We are about to begin shortly. His Excellency Ambassador of India to Kuwait, Shri C.B. George, accompanied by esteemed dignitaries from the state of Kuwait, are making their way to the auditorium now. So we will begin shortly. Request your kind cooperation and patience in this regard. Thank you so much. His Excellency Ambassador of India, accompanied by the esteemed dignitaries, have now arrived at the auditorium, and we will begin in a short while. Excellencies, distinguished dignitaries, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to all of you. A very warm welcome to Embassy of India. On behalf of Embassy of India in Kuwait, I welcome you all to today's event, which the Embassy is organizing to celebrate our historic, traditional, close, and vibrant partnership, a partnership which has been built over centuries based on mutual trust and respect by generations of the friendly peoples of the two countries. Today's event is specifically to reflect on our ongoing joint fight against COVID-19 and also a moment to reaffirm our commitment in jointly tackling this pandemic and the challenges it has posed to all of us. In view of the prevailing pandemic situation, today's event is being held largely virtually in line with the COVID-19 health and safety guidelines. Joining us today for the event here in the auditorium are all the stakeholders, including senior officials of various ministries and departments of the government of the state of Kuwait, representatives of oxygen supplying companies, airlines, ground handling agencies, members of the Indian community in Kuwait, and the media fraternity, all of whom have played a crucial role in our collective efforts to fight COVID-19. We also have been joined by a large number of friends of India and Indian diaspora members in Kuwait on our virtual platform, and many of them are also watching us live on our social media handles. Before we begin the official proceedings of the day, may I request all the esteemed guests who have joined us here in the auditorium to continue to follow all the COVID-19 guidelines, especially maintaining social distancing and wearing of your respective masks properly throughout the program. Thank you for your kind cooperation in this regard. We begin today's event with the national anthems of the State of Kuwait and Republic of India, which will be sung by a young member of the Indian community, Master Rohit. May I request everyone to rise for the national anthems, please. Thank you.
وطن الكويت سلمة المجد وعلى جبين قطع الأساد. وطن الكويت وطن الكويت وطن الكويت سلمة المجد يا محد آبائي الأولى كتبوا سفر الخلود فنادت الشهب الله أكبر إنهم عرب تعلت كواكب جنة الخلد. وطن الكويت سلمة المجد وعلى جبين قطع الأساد. وطن الكويت وطن الكويت وطن الكويت سلمة المجد. जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता. पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा. तव शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा. जन गण मन गणनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता. जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, Master Rohit. May I now request His Excellency Ambassador of India to Kuwait, Shri C.B. George, to come to the dais to felicitate the esteemed dignitaries from the state of Kuwait as part of our formal welcome. May I also request Ms. Smita Patil, First Secretary, Political and Commerce, Embassy of India, to join His Excellency the Ambassador on the dais, please. Before I request esteemed dignitaries who are present here in the auditorium to come to the dais for the felicitation, I would like to acknowledge the presence of His Excellency Ambassador Ali Suleiman Saeed, Assistant Foreign Minister for Asia Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kuwait, for joining us virtually and gracing the event. Thank you, Excellency. May I now request His Excellency Mr. Abdul Karim Taki, Director General, Public Authority of Industry, State of Kuwait, to come to the dais, please.
welcome our guest.
Thank you, Excellency. May I request His Excellency Sheikh Yusuf Abdullah Sabah and Nasser Sabah, Director General Kuwait Ports Authority, State of Kuwait, to come to the dais, please. Thank you, Excellency. May I request His Excellency Minister Plenipotentiary Nasser Sabih As-Sabih, Assistant Foreign Minister for Development and International Cooperation. Okay, apologies. His Excellency is not here with us at the moment. May I request His Excellency Mr. Jamal Hadal Al-Jalawi, Directorate General of Customs, State of Kuwait, to come to the dais, please. Thank you, Excellency. May I now kindly request His Excellency Engineer Yusuf Suleiman Al-Fawzan, Director General of Civil Aviation, State of Kuwait, to come to the dais, please. Thank you, Excellency. May I now request His Excellency Mr. Anwar Al-Hasawi, Deputy Chairman, Kuwait Red Crescent Society, to come to the dais, please. Thank you, Excellencies. May I kindly request His Excellency Ambassador of India to remain on the dais, and I request my colleague to proceed to take her seat in the auditorium, please. I request His Excellency the Ambassador to come to the podium and deliver the inaugural address, please. Sir.
His Excellency Ambassador Ali Suleiman Al Said, Assistant Foreign Minister, Asia Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. His Excellency Mr. Abdul Karim Taki, Director General Public Authority of Industry, State of Kuwait, His Excellency Sheikh Yusuf Abdullah Sabah Al Nasser Al Sabah, Director General Kuwait Ports Authority, His Excellency Mr. Jamal Hadel Al Jalawi, Director General, Directorate of Customs, His Excellency Engineer Yusuf Suleiman Al Fawzan, Director General of Civil Aviation, State of Kuwait, His Excellency Mr. Anwar Al Hazawi, Deputy Chairman of Red Crescent Society, esteemed guests, distinguished dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to Embassy of India in Kuwait. Let me begin my remarks by thanking His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmad Al Jaber Al Sabah, Amir of the State of Kuwait, and His Highness Sheikh Mishal Al Ahmad Al Jaber Al Sabah, Crown Prince of the State of Kuwait, for hosting the large Indian community in Kuwait and for looking after them particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. I welcome all the dignitaries and friends of India who have joined us today here physically and virtually. Today's event is in a way a celebration of the vibrant and dynamic partnership between our two friendly countries, India and Kuwait. This is a partnership that has not only stood the test of time, but has grown from strength to strength over the years and has now blossomed into a multifaceted, mutually enriching, forward-looking, dynamic partnership. This is no wonder for us, as our bilateral relationship have been built on a very sound and solid, deep-rooted foundation of exceptionally close and strong people-to-people ties. Our forefathers have built and nurtured this relationship on the basis of mutual trust and respect. I am confident that this relationship will continue to grow, prosper, and evolve into a new age, new India, new Kuwait partnership, connecting the visions of the leadership of our two friendly countries for the mutual development and progress of the peoples of our two countries. Dear friends, today's event is also an opportunity for us to reaffirm our commitment to jointly fight this devastating COVID-19 pandemic. As we stand here today, it appears that the global battle against this deadly pandemic is likely to be a protracted one. We have made significant progress with the COVID-19 vaccinations around the world. In India, we are successfully conducting the world's largest COVID-19 vaccination program with over 450 million vaccinated till date in a record time. In addition to the Covishield, which is AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine, India has developed its own vaccine, indigenously developed Covaxin, marking yet another significant achievement from India's world-reputed pharma industry. However, we still have a long way to go until each one of us is vaccinated and perhaps need to take even booster shots every year as we do with the flu shots. It is thereby imperative that we remain vigilant and we do not relent on our efforts. The new normal forced on us by COVID-19 appears to be here to stay. Just we need to adapt to it and adjust to it. I am also pleased to inform you that India has acted and continues to act with resolve during this unprecedented crisis. In India, the rate of spread of infections, the number of fatalities, and the number of cases requiring hospitalization and critical care have all shown a consistent decline in recent weeks. India's recovery rate today is 97%, which is much higher than the global average. India's fatality rate is 1.3%, which is much below the world average. A whole country, whole government approach has helped overcome both the phases of peak infections in India. Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, regularly address the state governments and the people directly, launching various programs aimed at taking this whole India effort forward. Today, the government is also taking all measures to prevent a potential third wave. Health infrastructure is also being ramped up as a precautionary measure. India's technological powers is being leveraged to deliver much needed healthcare solutions. The CoWIN application, which forms the technology backbone of the vaccination program in India, is an example of success of the Digital India program. While India implements these innovative solutions to combat the global pandemic, it keeps the needs of the international community at the center of its concerted efforts. The CoWIN platform has been designed to an open source platform for the benefit of all friendly countries around the world. I am pleased to inform that many countries around the world have expressed interest in leveraging from the global public good created by India. In fact, there was a global conclave held on this, and I'm very happy that an expert from Kuwait has also participated in the deliberations. India has been doing this right from the start of this fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. In his address to the UN General Assembly in September last year, Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, had assured the global community that India will use its production and delivery capacity to help all humanity in fighting the virus. This is exactly what we have done. India extended medical and other assistance to more than 150 countries. India has sent essential drugs, testing kits, and other medical assistance. Medications made in India were shipped to destinations across the world in daunting logistical circumstances imposed by lockdowns and other difficulties. India's rapid response teams were deployed in 8 countries, including to the friendly state of Kuwait. A 15-member rapid response team from India had visited Kuwait in April 2020 to augment the medical infrastructure of Kuwait in its bid to combat COVID-19. Indian naval vessels and Air Force airplanes delivered supplies along a wide arc to friends and partners. Through Vaccine Maitri, the global health diplomacy operation, we have supplied vaccines made in India to more than 90 nations across the world, including to our friendly state of Kuwait. India's actions of contributing to global good in turn paid rich dividends when India faced a severe challenge in an acute shortage of medical oxygen during the second wave of infections. Countries around the world stepped up to assist India. Our friendly state of Kuwait was one of the major suppliers of medical oxygen assistance to India. Kuwait was, in fact, one of the first countries to come forward and offer support to India. The Council of Ministers of the Government of State of Kuwait, in a statement on 26 April, expressed solidarity and extended support to India. The official statement read, and I quote, "Based on the distinguished friendship between the State of Kuwait and the Republic of India, and the keenness of the State of Kuwait to alleviate the suffering of the friendly Indian people in the face of this health disaster, the Council of Ministers has decided to send oxygen and other relief components to the Republic of India urgently in solidarity with the friendly Indian people and in recognition of the exceptional circumstances experienced by friends in India." Foreign Minister, His Excellency Sheikh Dr. Ahmad Nasser Al Mohammed Al Sabah, in a phone call with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, reiterated the decision of the government of Kuwait to provide emergency oxygen supplies to India. On behalf of the government and the 1.3 billion people of India, I extend my sincere gratitude to the leadership, government, and the people of the friendly state of Kuwait for all the assistance. The embassy received full cooperation and support from the leadership and the officials of various ministries and public authorities. such as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Ministry of Defense, Public Authority of Industries, Kuwait Port Authority, Kuwait Red Crescent, Civil Aviation, Customs authorities. The list is long. Officers of each one of these organizations worked hard, even during the holy month of Ramadan and the very day of Eid al-Fitr, to ensure continuous flow of much needed medical oxygen from Kuwait to India through successful air-sea bridge operations that we were able to establish. During the course of these operations, we had 6 naval ships from India and 4 military aircraft from India ferrying the much needed medical oxygen supplies and equipment from Kuwait to India. In addition, we had a Kuwaiti military aircraft and a commercial vessels arranged by the state of Kuwait and the Red Crescent carrying medical supplies to India. Over a month and a half long operation saw supply of 425 metric tons of liquid medical oxygen, over 12,500 oxygen cylinders and oxygen concentrators, ventilators, and other medical equipment from Kuwait to India. To quote one of the senior officials of the state of Kuwait, this operation has set a new benchmark for Kuwait's humanitarian efforts. I am so happy that the leadership from each of these high officers are present here today with us, despite it being a Thursday afternoon. On behalf of the government and the people of India, I thank His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, Amir of the State of Kuwait. I thank His Highness Sheikh Mishal Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, Crown Prince. His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, Prime Minister of the State of Kuwait. His Excellency Sheikh Hamad Jaber Al-Ali Al-Sabah, Deputy Prime Minister and Defense Minister. His Excellency Sheikh Dr. Ahmad Nasser Al-Muhammad Al-Sabah, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs. His Excellency Dr. Abdullah Iza Al-Salman, Minister of Commerce and Industry, and each one of the ministers, leaders and dignitaries and senior officers in the government of Kuwait who guided and supported us in this hour of need for India. I also thank the various oxygen producing companies in Kuwait which we partnered with, Airtuck, Gulf Cryo, Technogas, and a few other friendly companies who opened up their reservoirs for us during these crucial hours. They even managed to arrange tankers and cylinders in short notice, not just from Kuwait, but even from other GCC countries as well. I need also to thank and acknowledge the ground handling agents, Al Rashid and NAS, and airlines, Kuwait Airways, Air India, Jazeera, and many other partners. In short, let me say this: thank you, Kuwait. I also like to specifically highlight the immense contributions made by the vibrant Indian community in Kuwait during this crisis period to support their fellow brothers and sisters back home. I am proud of all the members of the Indian diaspora who rose to the occasion and spearheaded a spirited campaign to mobilize oxygen cylinders and other priority medical equipment from Kuwait. Hats off to all members of the Indian community, the Indian Community Support Group, ICSG, members of all the associations of the IBPC, COVID Relief Fund, IDF, IIT IIM, ICAI Kuwait chapter, and many associations and individuals for their tireless efforts and generous contributions to ensure continued supply of medical oxygen to India. Let me conclude by saying this: India and Kuwait have always stood with each other in times of difficulties. Our cooperation in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic is the best example of what a traditional partnership of two friendly countries can do when faced with exceptional challenges which is to help each other unconditionally in times of need. It was a deep partnership doing wonders with oxygen cylinders and LMO tankers flowing to India with personal engagement of the leadership of the two countries and the support of the vibrant Indian community in Kuwait. We commit ourselves to work every day to further strengthen this long-standing dynamic partnership. Long live India-Kuwait friendship. Long live India-Kuwait partnership. Thank you to all. Stay safe, stay blessed. I thank each one of you for joining us today to celebrate and to join hands with us to thank Kuwait for its support to India. Thank you.
So, may I kindly request you to remain on the dais, please? Thank you very much, Excellency, for those overarching and insightful remarks which have captured the essence of this partnership. Without further ado, I would like to request the following esteemed dignitaries to come to the dais and join His Excellency the Ambassador for the official unveiling of the memorial plaque, which pictorially showcases our collective efforts in this joint fight against the pandemic. May I request His Excellency Mr. Abdul Karim Taki, Director General, Public Authority for Industry, State of Kuwait, His Excellency Sheikh Yusuf Abdullah Sabah Al Nasser Al Sabah, Director General, Kuwait Ports Authority, His Excellency Mr. Jamal Hadal Al Jalabi, Director General, Directorate General of Customs, State of Kuwait, His Excellency Engineer Yusuf Suleiman Al Fawzan, Director General of Civil Aviation, State of Kuwait, His Excellency Mr. Anwar Al Hasawi, Deputy Chairman, Kuwait Red Crescent Society. So. Excellencies, you may remember many of those pictures. May I request Excellencies to... May I request Excellencies to stay there for a group photo with the plaque? With the plaque? Yes, sir. On either side of the plaque, please. Thank you, Excellencies. May I kindly request you to proceed to your respective seats in the auditorium, please. Thank you once again. I would like to now invite His Excellency Ambassador Ali Suleiman As-Said, Assistant Foreign Minister for Asia Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, State of Kuwait, to deliver his remarks on the occasion. His Excellency has joined us virtually. Over to you, Excellency.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Excellency. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you very much for inviting me for this pleasant occasion. I understood that the occasion will be held virtually, so that's why we're not attending. I don't know, you did something behind us, but anyway, congratulations. I wish that I will be there to celebrate it with my colleagues also. Anyway, Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for inviting us for this event. After the great statement made by Your Excellency. I think there is nothing else to say. You said everything which we wanted to say. So I will not deliver the statement which was written by my colleagues for myself, but I will say a few remarks which I believe it's from my heart, and I hope that it will reach the heart of everybody attending this lovely event. Excellencies, when we talk about India, we talk about ourselves. The relations between India and Kuwait, it's an old relations. It started from the 1961, but in the history, it went even beyond 100 years ago. The Embassy of India was opened in 1962. The Embassy of Kuwait in India was opened in 1964. This year is the occasion of the 60th occasion of the establishing the diplomatic relations between our two countries. I cannot talk about the relations without mentioning the personal contact and the personal relations between our officials, the Prime Minister of Kuwait with the Prime Minister of India, the Emir of Kuwait with the President of India, and also with the Prime Minister of India, and the Foreign Minister of Kuwait with his colleague, the Foreign Minister of India. These kind of relations facilitate our work and let us work even more than we looking for it. I think it's important to mention the successful visit of His Excellency the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Kuwait to India, and also the successful visit of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of India to Kuwait in last month. These kind of visits took our relations to a higher level, and now we are talking about strategical relations with India. From our part, we think our relations with India is a strategical relations, and whatever help in that regard, we will be in the front line to support this kind of relation. The economic and the trade relations and investments going forward, it's going forward. We are doing more, and hopefully we will go even more forward when we meet with our colleagues soon and search for better opportunities for investments and trade, and also in the field of education and health fields. Dear colleagues, mentioning what's happening in the world because of Corona, I think it's well known to everybody. We are all suffering this kind of pandemic, but friendship is there. We helped each other. India helped Kuwait, Kuwait helped India, and this is something normal and natural between friends and strategical partners. And maybe my colleagues who are attending this ceremony, maybe they can speak in details about the coordination during this pandemic. I really would like to appreciate this kind of cooperation, which I find it normal and will serve both of us, the people of India and the people of Kuwait. And I'm looking forward to even take the relations further step that we can enjoy friendship and strategical partnership on each level of the relations. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thanks to the Ambassador of India. I see him healthy now and very active as we know him. Thanks to my colleagues in Delhi and in Mumbai also. We are always in touch with them whenever we find any difficulties in our relations. But because of this kind of friendship and strategical relations, we always find a solution for any obstacle come in front of our way going forward. I really wish to be there with you I'm sorry I couldn't attend because maybe there is a misunderstanding, but anyway, I am there. And I would like to say hello to each one of you and salute you for this kind of success in taking our relations forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Excellency, for those kind remarks and for the positive reaffirmation of the commitment to further strengthen our bilateral relationship and take this partnership forward. Thank you very much once again. I would now like to invite His Excellency Mr. Abdul Karim Taki, Director General Public Authority of Industry, State of Kuwait, to come to the podium and deliver his remarks on the occasion, please.
I was waiting for a long time to move the mask, really, to breathe little. It's a good occasion to do that now. Really, it's not speech more than really something in the heart. Would like to mention it and share it with all of you. Your Excellency, Ambassador of India, all of my colleagues and the audience. Beginning, I would like to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of His Excellency Dr. Abdullah Isa Salman, Minister of Commerce and Industry, I would like to send all his salam for all of you, and he best wishes for all the Indian and all other worlds, really. Really, I would like to speak about something simple, how this sweet and beautiful story exists between the two countries. And to say it truly, there was a direct instruction built on the humanity meaning through His Excellency, His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, and the Crown Prince, Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, and the Prime Minister. And this really instruction was carrying too much meaning for us. Help your brothers, really. Whatever you need, help your brothers in these situations. Now, the first thing come to our minds is Kuwait is a small country and India is big countries. What can we do about it? And we found that 425 tons is not easy to handle in 1 month, really. But everybody, all entities, all government entities support each other. And the challenge was who can introduce more and more for this country. We see brothers, we see friendship in this country. We see many beautiful moments happen for us with the people of India. So the challenge was too easy for us really to do it. Not because it is easy, because we do it from our heart. We do it because we like to do it. The love is being built on this challenge. So really it was too easy for us. We didn't feel noisy, we didn't feel boring, we didn't feel tired to do that all the time, really. Not more than what's coming. What's coming again, which will be on a very long and strong relationship, carrying the economy, the commercial, the trading, and sure, industry. We will learn too much from the Indian people. Since the beginning of the historical relation between the two sides, we are learning from this country. As I said from beginning, the whole situation have been built on the humanity, and that's what we learn from our leaders, really. Hopefully we continue do this kind of bridge of cooperation between the two sides, because it is healthy and helpful for the two sides. My best wishes for all Indian people. Hopefully that we can visit your country one time and tell them, really, as you mentioned, Your Excellency, thank you, India. Really thank you from the heart, because you give us this chance to share the people, smile, and healthy situation. Thank you very much for all of you.
Thank you very much, Excellency, for those kind remarks. I would now like to invite His Excellency Sheikh Yusuf Abdullah Sabah and Nasir Sabah, Director General Kuwait Ports Authority, State of Kuwait, to come to the podium and deliver his remarks on the occasion, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your Excellency, the Ambassador of India, Your Excellencies, the heads of the Civil Aviation Authority, Public Authority for Industry, the Kuwait Customs, the Kuwait Red Crescent, distinguished guests, the Indian community. Of course, my predecessors in the speech covered everything. But in terms of the Kuwait Port Authority, we've only done our job for our friends in India, receiving the 6 beautiful frigates that have received the tanks and the relief equipment, the support that has been done is only a drop in the ocean of the support that we have received from the Indian nation in the past centuries. There is no question about the relationship, not between the two countries, as this can be discussed between the diplomats, but between us as people, with the people of India. And I think this is what is important. We live among 1 million Indians, 1 million Kuwaitis here living in Kuwait, with 1 million Indians living in Kuwait, in peace and in harmony, in cooperation and in brotherhood. It's been that way for more than 50 years, and it will remain forever. I cannot thank His Excellency the Ambassador of India, who spearheaded this effort, and without his leadership, without his resilience, without his support, none of what we see in front of us could have been possible. So, Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much. I would also like to thank the government agencies and what Mr. Abdul Karim Taqi said, that gave us a chance for us to test our capabilities, and we have done it with a big smile on our face. I also thank the Indian community, the big Indian community, with what they have done and the stand that they have stood to support their families and to support people that they don't even know back home in India, with their quick effort and quick support to the Indian community. And what does that mean? That means that the Indian community of Kuwait supported India. And this is something for us to be proud here in Kuwait. Thank you very much. And last but not least, I don't think that this effort is the end of the road. I think we lack further ties, further business relationships, further connectivity with our different partners and stakeholders in Kuwait and India. And with the leadership of His Excellency, the Ambassador, I think we need to move into a new chapter of cooperation between our two countries to enhance the relationship on personal level in terms of the ports or the civil aviation or customs, or what's even more important is industry. And this is what we need in the next chapter to come. So, Your Excellency, you've done an amazing job with your leadership in this effort, and I'm sure you will be doing an even better job with the next chapter to come. I've not prepared for a word, and I don't think that the words that come from all of our hearts require a written document. And therefore, I would like to apologize if what I said is not tidy and it's not as per the written standards, but sometimes small words that come from the heart are more than volumes of books. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Excellency. We would now be playing an audiovisual clip, which is a video collage of some of the moments from our joint fight against COVID, especially the recently concluded successful air-sea bridge operations. Thank you. In a display of solidarity and friendship, the government of the state of Kuwait had lit up the iconic Kuwait Towers with a display of flags of India and Kuwait. We have just seen a picture in the video collage. An artist from the state of Kuwait, Mr. Mahmoud Al-Qattan, has beautifully captured this significant moment in our glorious partnership. The artist has expressed his keenness in presenting this creation of his to His Excellency the Ambassador. So without further ado, may I request His Excellency the Ambassador to come to the dais, please. May I also request Mr. Mahmoud Al-Qattan, who is also a member of the Kuwait Arts Association, to come to the dais, please, and present the painting to His Excellency the Ambassador. Thank you. Yes. May I request His Excellency the Ambassador to felicitate the artist as a mark of our respect and gratitude. May I request the artist also to stay back on the dais, please. Thank you, Excellency. Thank you, Mr. Qattan. I would now like to invite Mr. Rajpal Tyagi, recipient of the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award, to come to the podium and deliver his remarks on the occasion.
Namaste, Salam Alaikum, and a warm greeting on a warm day outside in a pleasant environment in this auditorium. His Excellency, the Ambassador of India to Kuwait, Shri C.B. George, and a glitter of dignitaries sitting right in front. Each one of you heads a ministry or a government department, and you are really Pearl of Kuwait, and the other audience, Pearl of India, a warm greeting. We are celebrating a very phenomenal moment, and which is a relationship between India and Kuwait, which is 60 years old formally, but centuries old informally. My predecessor has just said that I'm not prepared with a paper, and I do not have a written document, and I will follow his footstep. When you go to a court and you swear on a book or a holy book, and you say, whatsoever I will speak truth. So I want to speak truth. In Kuwait, we are 1 million people, Indians, out of a population of 4.5 million. And we are second to our host nationals, which is the Kuwaiti citizen. So it is a very proud moment. We could have been not 1 million if the relationship between the two countries, two brother nations, was not cordial, if we were not contributing hand in hand together for each other's friendship and relationship. So this is a mammoth moment, and I'm standing on behalf of 1 million Indians, or as one citizen, and I represent Association Indian Community Support Group. Our ambassador does not leave much for me to say, because he covers in all his speech all the data regarding Kuwait, regarding India, trade, benefits. But in general, like what we import from Kuwait is basically, as India, oil and gas or the oil products, which is 10 to 12% of our requirement. And we basically export to Kuwait commodities, lots of, so I will not go into the detail. I'm representing an organization called Indian Community Support Group, which was established on 20th April 2020 in this critical period of COVID-19 pandemic. World has never seen such a, I would say, disastrous atmosphere, and Kuwait or India or Kuwaitis and Indians, we are no different than others. And at that time, Indian Embassy organized or established this organization, which is called Indian Community Support Group. In short, we call it India ICSG. That time, since 11th of March 2020, the main challenge was that people were not going out of the house. There was a lockdown, there was a curfew. So there was a need that we should see that nobody should go hungry and nobody should sleep hungry. So at that time, under our honorable ambassador and Indian Embassy, this organization was established and we started functioning. My colleagues of ICSG are sitting, most of them who are in the country, they all are here. And they all got together, they raised their resources, and they contacted our friends from India and from Kuwait, because since we are here, this has become a home away from home. If I give my example, I live in this country 40 years. So that is a testimonial. If I live and do a business and live with my children and my wife and my family and live happily, and there are many more like me. So that's a testimony that Kuwait and India enjoys a wonderful relationship, and may God bless this relationship forever. So our first step under ICSG was that we should organize and source the food and distribute it to the needy people who lost their jobs, who couldn't come out of the house because of the curfew or the lockdown. So ICSG was doing this through various volunteers, and we gathered, like I should say, all the organization or Indian organization in Kuwait, and mainly there were IDF, Indian Doctors Forum, IBPC, Chartered Accountants Association, and many more. They all came wholeheartedly, our Kuwaiti friends came wholeheartedly, the committee came together, and they said, it's a noble cause. Red Crescent, I see the representative here, they were helping, and similarly, we also took this as a challenge, and we thought that we should reach each and everyone, or I would say maximum. I wouldn't say we were able to achieve 100% goal, but substantially. So we reached and we were able to send the food. I'm very proud to mention that we were able to send 700,000 meals to those needy fellow citizens, irrespective of color, caste, and creed. They were a human being, they wanted a food, and that time we wanted to support it. Now, since we are talking of this critical period of pandemic, so Government of India and Government of Kuwait have signed MOU in 2013. So there are lots of Indian doctors, nurses, and paramedical staff who are here and were serving in this critical period or time. At that time, when we took the help and support for various Indian associations, similarly, we collaborated with the largest or one of the largest charity organization, which is Al Najat Charity. I'm very proud to say that first time it has happened that all the Indian association came together, and an Indian association was able to connect with Al Najat Charity, and we were all very active and serving the people at this hour of need, which was badly required at that time. So thank you, Kuwait, thank you, Kuwaitis, friends, brothers, and Al Najat. Then, like His Excellency have just mentioned that we are celebrating 60 years, and our Excellency is so enthusiastic. The 60 years relationship is on the paper, but he wished to celebrate 600 events or the function or events on this mammoth. Salute to you, sir. Pranam to you. Then 2-3 months back, or rather say April, this crisis came when we heard that there's a shortage in India. It was an afternoon, something like this today. His Excellency called Indian Community Support Group members. We all got together. We came rushing within an hour's notice. And His Excellency said, we need to move or mobilize the resources for oxygen. Under the leadership or vibrant leadership of His Excellency, we were part and parcel, or we were the team member under his leadership, and ICSG was basically supporting for this oxygen sending from here to India. It was really remarkable thought. It was a great, I would say, gesture that people who needs at this hour. And thank you, Government of Kuwait and Kuwaiti National, who really supported us in all ways, like whether it's the customs or it is the aviations or the airlines, so they all supported. Then yesterday I was listening in the open house from His Excellency. He again announced, because his support does not stop. He continued to support and support and support. He announced that there are lots of our brothers and sisters, basically, who suffered casualties or who died in this pandemic of corona or pandemic 19. Financial help of Indian rupees 100,000 to member of each and every family. So I do not know how should we thank His Excellency, but he is always leading and we follow and we feel, Your Excellency, very proud to be part of your team. And it doesn't end here. It does not end here. I pray and wish no other, I would say, crisis happens, but if it happens, with the help of Indian committee, with the help of our Kuwaiti brothers and Kuwaiti citizens and the royal family, and we together will, I would say, will face this challenge and come together to face any crisis. So I pray to God that long live Kuwait and India partnership or relationship forever. Jai Hind, and I namaste to all of you, and thank you very much. And let's celebrate this event together. Namaste.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tyagi, for delivering the remarks on behalf of the Indian Community Support Group. Next, I would now like to invite Mr. Piyush Jain, President IIT-IIM Association, and also representative of the ATEC Group, to come to the podium and deliver his remarks on the occasion, please.
Excellencies, other dignitaries, friends here and friends virtually, good evening to you all. For most of us, Kuwait has become our first home rather than second, because we have been here for quite some time. Although we are from India, but Kuwait has always welcomed us, and we feel homely when we are here. I believe, as a true friendship, it's not about meeting every day or personally having togetherness, but it's a bond. A bond which doesn't make the problems disappear, but stands by us during the problems. I know when Kuwait needed, India supported with 200,000 vaccines, which we sent. And Kuwait was one of the first countries who stood up for us when India was facing the second wave, especially by supplying the oxygen. Mr. Taki is here, so on behalf of AirTech, I would say that one day when we received the call from public authority, they said we have to supply oxygen to India. So as a supplier, we asked, what quantities are you looking for? He said, as much as you can. And this is true friendship. This tells us what exactly the relation between Kuwait and India is. The supplies were so smooth because of the Indian Navy and Indian Air Force, which His Excellency told us. But I can tell you, it was not an easy job. Kuwait port authorities, Public Industrial Authority of Kuwait, Customs, DGCA, they all worked together for this. Since everybody has talked about everything else, I'll tell you a little bit about these shipments, how it happened. The ship used to come from India. We will load the oxygen cylinders and the oxygen tanks. It will take 5 days to reach India. Then the tanks and cylinders will be offloaded. And immediately the ship will start its journey back to Kuwait. Again, 5 days. During these 5 days, those tanks are getting decanted in different sites in India. And then the Air Force planes are ready to take the empty tanks back to Kuwait. As soon as it reaches, we refill. The ships are here to take them. One day I was asking His Excellency, sir, tomorrow is holiday. How we are going to do it? He says, Piyush, all the people here have promised me, even when I call them in the middle of the night, they said, don't worry, this is for India, and the support is there, we will send. And I know Sheikh, he was there for that. So this is something which we all cannot see behind what has happened, but it was really not easy. And this is what true friendship is all about. And for this, I thank you all. And on behalf of India, I say, God bless Kuwait and our true friendship. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Piyush, for your kind remarks. I would now like to invite Mr. Kaiser Shakir, Treasurer, Indian Business and Professionals Council, and former Chairman of ICAI Kuwait Chapter, to come to the podium and deliver his remarks on the occasion.
His Excellency, Ambassador of India to Kuwait, Shri C.V. George, esteemed dignitaries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, I've already had 5 or 6 people coming up, and the dignitaries, they've covered it all. So as you go behind, I'm sure my people after me would have very little to thank for, because most of the things are covered. And His Excellency, what you said about straight from the heart, a little deviation from that. My problem is that it's just like when you do a dua. The dua needs to be structured, because when you go and do the sujood, you may not remember everything in order. So what happens is that you need to make your points. So if somebody's given you a dua which is structured, it makes life easy. So I've probably written down my notes, and I would like to follow that. At the outset, on behalf of the Indian Business and Professional Council, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to His Excellency for inviting us today. Gautam Buddha has said, if you knew what I know about the power of giving, you would not let a single meal pass without sharing it with someone. So during this time of great uncertainties, we've been comforted, encouraged, and humbled by the outpouring of generosity and support from our community. Remarkable people, organizations, support groups, small businesses, and corporations have all stepped up to support our first responders, frontline healthcare workers, and patients with donations of food packets, meals, protective equipments, oxygen cylinders, and more. May it be the charity and donation drive last year during the lockdown, or the call to assist our brethren back home when our country faced a shortage of oxygen cylinders and oxygen concentrators, we have shown that, yes, our solidarity with our country and fellow citizens in times of distress stands. In May this year, when the Indian Embassy, under the leadership of His Excellency and in association with ICSG, initiated the oxygen cylinder drive to fight the shortage back home, IBPC too took a leap into it. We used to hear the proverb of course, it was said by Helen Keller that alone we can do little, together we can do much. So we saw this during May and June. We reached out to our members. Our members reached out to their friends, relatives, acquaintances, not only Indians but Kuwaitis. And as you all know, the response was overwhelming. I can surely vouch for all what happened since I am the chief bean counter of the funds received by IBPC's account on behalf of the Indian community. So various associations, including the IDF, ICAI, IIT, IIM, and more have contributed generously. The support from the Indian Embassy and His Excellency has been unparalleled. In fact, we gather here today not just to thank the Indian diaspora in Kuwait, Friends of India, and Kuwait government, but also to thank His Excellency Ambassador Sir and his entire team of diplomats and officials who worked relentlessly around the clock in delivering what was essential. Thank you very much, sir. Again, Mother Teresa, I love to quote. So, Mother Teresa said, at the end of life, we will not be judged by how many diplomas we have received, how much money do we have, how many great things we have done. We will be judged by, I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was naked and you clothed me. I was homeless and you took me in. So this is what Kuwait has done. This is what Indians in Kuwait have done for our country. And we're all thankful for that. And so to us all, our heroes, we thank you for helping us to meet the challenges of this moment. We pledge to continue providing the highest order of assistance with inclusion, integrity, compassion, accountability, respect, and excellence. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaiser Shakir. I would now like to invite Dr. Sunil Yadav, Acting President of Indian Doctors Forum Kuwait, to come to the podium and deliver his remarks on the occasion, please. Dr. Sunil.
His Excellency, Ambassador of India to Kuwait, Mr. C.B. George, and respected dignitaries present over here, good afternoon to one and all. I feel privileged to represent Indian Doctors Forum, which comprises of Indian doctors working in Ministry of Health and in private sector here in Kuwait. So I feel humble and privileged to be in front of this esteemed group of people present over here. IDF, since its inception in 2004, has been actively involved in various social, cultural, and community welfare activities in collaboration with Indian Embassy here in Kuwait. But since arrival of His Excellency Mr. C.B. George, our collaboration or partnership with Indian Embassy has reached new heights. We are fortunate to have His Excellency with us, especially during this critical time, during this pandemic. IDF with Indian Embassy has been relentlessly involved in various activities like contact tracing, which was very useful during early part of the pandemic, where our doctor members, they were helping the Ministry of Health out of their duty. They were helping in contact tracing, and they were helping in teleconsultation and counseling for the COVID patients and the families. The teleconsultation was very important because during this pandemic we realized other than physical health, there is a lot of mental health issues, and which could be solved by simple phone call by our members during odd hours. They were available round the clock. With the help of the Indian Embassy, we organized these teleconsultations. Continuing with our activities during last 18 months, we had vaccine awareness and campaign. We produced videos in various languages, Indian languages. As you know, India has so many languages, so it's not possible to cover everything in Hindi and English. So we covered almost 14 Indian languages, and we delivered the video messages to the public through various social media platforms. We participated in health screening for the people in distress, especially in Indian Embassy. Sometimes, as per the need arise, we were there. we did our role in helping the emergency supply of oxygen in India during second wave. And lastly, in this very auditorium, there was release of health guide, which covered the latest and up-to-date information for the common people, for the community on COVID. This health guide was released over here. So, on behalf of our President, Dr. Amir Ahmed, and all the IDF office bearers and all IDF members, I would like to express my gratitude towards the Amir of Kuwait, His Highness Sheikh Nawab Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, Crown Prince, His Highness Sheikh Mishal Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, and Honorable Health Minister, His Highness Sheikh Basil Hamoud Al Ahmed Al Sabah, and all the officials of Government of Kuwait for trusting in IDF, giving us the responsibilities, extra responsibilities in various activities which I mentioned earlier. Last but not the least, our special thanks to His Excellency, Mr. C.B. George, and his able team in Indian Embassy to help and encourage IDF fighting this battle with this invisible enemy. I hope and pray the pandemic will end soon and normalcy will be achieved all over the world. I would conclude by saying IDF will always be ready to play its role and continue to carry out community services and activities to help the residents and citizens of Kuwait always and at the time of need. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sunil Yadav. Finally, now I would like to invite Mr. Deepak Bindal, Chairman, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICAI Kuwait chapter, to come to the podium and deliver his remarks.
I am not as eloquent a speaker like you, sir, so I have my notes. As the African proverb goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And together, for the last 60 years of diplomatic relations between India and Kuwait, both the countries have moved ahead solidly, withstood the test of time, and I pray these two great nations continue to progress, prosper, and prevail forever. Indian Embassy has been the central focal point, binding all Indian nationals and providing support to all Indian associations like a parent. Today I represent the Kuwait chapter of the Chartered Accountants of India, and we have more than 500 Indian Chartered Accountants as our member, who are serving in over 150 organizations in Kuwait, mainly in finance and accounts field. 2 months back, when we experienced this second wave in India, and when the India and Kuwait started their fight together, we experienced how humanity can overcome any challenge. And I am proud of my Indian Embassy, which led from the front, and I remain thankful to the Kuwait government and the people of Kuwait for their generosity and timely help. ICI Kuwait chapter was blessed and honored to be part of this noble cause, and our members came together and used this opportunity to mobilize funds and support Indian Embassy, and we learned that we can go beyond our boundaries under the leadership of His Excellency C.B. George. The Chartered Accountants always believe in motto, together we can, and we believe individually we are one drop, but together we are an ocean. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Deepak. With this, we come to an end to today's event. On behalf of Embassy of India in Kuwait, I would like to extend a formal vote of thanks to all the excellencies, esteemed dignitaries, respected members of Indian diaspora and friends of India in Kuwait, esteemed members of the media fraternity, distinguished guests and viewers, who have joined us on the virtual platform, and all those watching us live on our social media handles for attending this event. Thank you all once again. Be safe and be healthy. Remain vigilant and continue following all the health and safety guidelines related to COVID-19. Have a nice day and have a great weekend ahead. Thank you all.